Oprah has had too many opportunities to tell the world the truth. It's time to expose all her evil secrets and lies she's been spewing at us for years. So I want to tell you about the Rose McGowan and Oprah situation, but first, let me relive some childhood memories and remind you where you know Rose McGowan from. Remember the 1999 movie Jawbreaker? Without showing my age, let me just say it was like wildly inappropriate for me to have watched it when it came out because of how old I was in 1999, but somehow I saw it, and not just once, I actually owned it on DVD and I watched it religiously. I don't know why I liked it so much, but anyway, she's like the queen bee in that movie. Think of Regina George, Mean Girls. She was like that girl, okay? But let's fast forward. So Rose has been so outspoken about her distrust of Oprah, particularly regarding Oprah's past connections to a man whose names rhyme with Barney Springsteen and another man, Russell Simmons, both of whom have been accused of SA. Now, in August of 2021, Rose shared a photo of Oprah kissing Springsteen on the cheek at the 2014 Critics' Choice Movie Awards, tweeting that Oprah is as fake as they come and supports a sick power structure for personal gain. To quote, she actually said, "I am glad more are seeing the ugly truth of at Oprah. I wish she were real, but she isn't. From being pals with Springsteen to abandoning and destroying Russell Simmons' victims, she is about supporting a sick power structure for personal gain. She is as fake as they come, #lizard. She not only accused Oprah of being friends with him, despite Oprah claiming she didn't know about his alleged behavior towards women, but she also accused Oprah of just flat out lying to everyone about just how connected she is to him. Now, McGowan also stated that she was abandoning Simmons' victims because Oprah announced she would no longer be an executive producer on a documentary highlighting Simmons' accusers' stories. Rose then went on to also say that Oprah promotes a sick power structure and that Oprah prioritizes personal gain over supporting victims of misconduct. Oprah has not directly responded to McGowan's accusations. However, in 2017, Oprah condemned the accusers' actions, saying she was glad women have started speaking out. When Rose was criticized for throwing stones, McGowan replied by saying, "You think I throw stones? No, bad word, I drop bombs." Now, in 2018, Seal called her out for turning a blind eye to Spinstein's alleged misconduct, also quoting, "You heard the rumors but had no idea. My bad. When you've been part of the problem for decades, but secretly they think you're the solution." Dave Chappelle also weighed in and said, "Once you see their genuine faces, you won't be able to stand them since they are too diabolical to bear." So, despite being a supporter of the Me Too movement, critics argue that her past associations don't line up with her public stance. This whole situation highlights the complexities of Hollywood's power dynamics and the ongoing conversation about accountability and support for survivors of misconduct. Now, I want to highlight a story that quite honestly shocked me because I really never heard of it and I thought I had heard it all. But let's rewind and go to the year 1986. A very young 20-year-old Cindy Crawford appeared on the Oprah Winfrey Show alongside her manager, John Casablancas. That's a wicked last name, right? Anyway, Oprah asked Casablancas, "So, did you her? Did she always have this body?" She asked him this and then proceeded to direct Crawford to stand up and show her body. Like, how awful. Like, when I watched that, I actually felt the anxiety through my body as if I was Cindy herself. I just honestly can't imagine the horrible feeling that gave her. Cindy stood up and did exactly what Oprah asked and would later go on the record saying she felt objectified and traumatized by the whole experience and recalled it as an instance where she was like treated like a child, seen but just not heard. Crawford actually reflected on this experience in the Apple TV Plus docuseries, The Supermodels, and expressed how it made her feel judged and like she wasn't seen as a person with a voice in her own destiny. Now, bestie to the rescue, because here came Oprah's best friend Gayle King to her defense, saying she was surprised and disappointed, noting that Crawford had appeared on Oprah's show many times with pleasant experiences. Like, that's fine, Gayle, but that's not how things work. Like, I have had many pleasant experiences at Red Lobster, but that doesn't take away from that one time I had a horrible one with a rude server and cold food. Anyway, some social media users felt as though Crawford was being too sensitive given her profession as a model, while others acknowledged Oprah's poor choice of words. Oprah has since pulled that interview off YouTube, like a whole 4 decades later. But what do you guys think? Was Oprah doing too much, or was Cindy just a little too soft? Okay, So I know the election is done, but I want to lightly touch on this next one. It was reported that Oprah denied allegations that she was paid to endorse Kamala Harris in the 2024 presidential election. Social media posts claim she received $1 million, but Oprah clarified that the payment was actually for event production services and not a personal fee. There was so much controversy over endorsement because celebs like Beyonce, Eminem, Megan Thee Stallion, and Lizzo, they all endorsed Harris, which actually sparked the rumors of paid endorsements. Winfrey went on to say that she wasn't paid a dime, and the $1 million went towards production fees for her interview with Kamala Harris. No evidence actually supports the claim that Harris's campaign paid the celebrity for endorsements. The campaign's Federal Election Commission records show no evidence paying any of these celebrities, and Cardi B even went on the record saying, "I didn't get paid $1." Now, let's discuss Oprah's school scandal quickly. If you didn't know, Oprah opened a leadership academy for girls in South Africa back in January of 2007. It apparently cost her $40 million, is 52-acre campus, and its inaugural class of 72 girls graduated in 2011, which all sounds amazing. But back in 2007, soon after it was opened, it was hit with a scandal when a dorm matron was accused of physically and verbally abusing 6 students. Now, Oprah was devastated, calling it one of the, if not the most devastating experiences of her life. Upon hearing the allegation, she immediately flew to the school with Gayle King and a psychiatrist, Dr. Bruce Perry, to investigate. They found a climate of intimidation and fear and a lack of leadership. Oprah encouraged students to come forward promising support and protection. Oprah did take swift action. The headmistress was fired for not addressing the allegations. Oprah initiated changes in personnel and school management. She hired investigators from the US to look into this, and police were notified, which led to an arrest and 13 charges. So Oprah then, of course, like, you get a card, you get a card, you get a card, everybody in the room, and gave each student a cell phone with her personal phone number on speed dial. Like, imagine having Oprah's personal phone number on speed dial. I just don't know if I'd be able to act right after that. But this scandal was like a major blow to Oprah's reputation. Her swift response did help mitigate the damage, and the students and the parents appreciated her actions, and many who had considered leaving actually changed their minds. From then until now, there hasn't been much news about the school, but we are to assume all is well. However, there was a brief moment in 2023 where like some rumors popped up that several students went missing, but there's no credible news sources for that. So either Oprah's gotten really good at managing scandals, or it's just a bunch of talk. Either way, it's concerning. So very strange. You guys know the actor and comedian Steve Martin, right? Well, he used to do a routine that went like this. You too can be a millionaire. It's easy. First, get $1 million. If you put that routine between hardcovers, you'd have a book called The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. It's a self-help manifesto that basically says in a nutshell, what you think about, you bring about. The book's central premise, the law of attraction, is that positive thinking is the route to obtaining what you want in life, while negative thoughts will cause bad events to occur. I'll be honest with you, I read it years ago, and I won't share my opinions on it too much, but like anything, I did find some good and some bad. Well, there was a big controversy surrounding Oprah about it back in 2006 because it was the subject of 2 episodes on the Oprah Winfrey Show featuring a dream team of self-help gurus, all of whom contributed to the project. At the time, Oprah wasn't just endorsing it, she championed it, putting herself right in the middle of it all, and made it a prominent theme not only in her life, but it was all over her website, and she would reference it in many moments on her show and in interviews. Her involvement actually helped the book sell more than 2 million copies, which put it ahead of the new Harry Potter book at the time on the Amazon bestseller list. These 2 episodes, however, caused a lot of issues and controversy because Oprah's producers received a letter from one viewer named Kim Tinkham, who had received a breast cancer diagnosis shortly after the show aired. They were alarmed by how far she had taken this advice and inspiration. Now, Tinkham wrote that she had decided to forego chemotherapy, instead choosing to follow the book's advice literally. The public got wind of this and went into a frenzy, saying that Oprah had promoted cult-like behavior and unrealistic expectations that could be extremely dangerous to a lot of people's lives. Now, Oprah brought Tinkham back on the show to set her straight and urged her not to ignore all the advantages of medical science. Tinkham, who went on to follow another New Age regime laid out in a book called The pH Miracle, actually passed away in December of 2010. Ultimately, Ultimately, Oprah stood by her position that, the law of attraction can affect positive change. The problem is that there have been many incidents similar to Kim's. Like, a lot of consumers took this advice very seriously, and it had a lot of negative impact on their lives. So not so good. And because of all the backlash, Oprah has tried to keep this incident a secret for years and has since removed both episodes on her channel and website to try and keep the whole debacle under wraps. Next, I want to talk about Oprah's Maui scandal. Now, Oprah has a special connection to the island of Maui, Hawaii. In 2002, she purchased a 23-acre estate, which she has used as a private retreat and vacation home. Must be nice. Oprah's Maui estate, which she named The Farm, features a luxurious main house, guest cottages, a private movie theater, and beautifully landscaped gardens. Now, over the years, Oprah has shared glimpses of her home with her fans through different media outlets. Now, in a response to the 2023 Hawaii wildfires, Oprah and Dwayne Johnson, better known as The Rock, teamed up to support the Maui community. They created the People's Fund of Maui.
Every dollar that you send that goes directly to the people.
They both pledged $10 million to establish the fund, which aimed to provide financial assistance to affected Maui residents. Now, when Oprah and The Rock both contributed their initial $10 million payment to the fund, they also invited the public to contribute their own donations for the rest of it. When it launched, critics began questioning why the two celebs didn't just fund it entirely themselves, especially given their wealth and net worth. And some people have said that we should just be grateful to have help at all, and that nobody, including celebrities, are obligated to help or give money to anything. But the big controversy and issue that many people have is how wealthy Americans have taken over large portions of Hawaiian real estate, even while native Hawaiians struggle to even receive land promised to be returned to them from the US government. People are on a 40-year-old waiting list for a home that the US government stole from natives over a century ago. And during the big fires in Maui, residents fleeing the carnage of the flames were held up at the gates of Oprah's very large fenced property. She was not staying at the vacation home at the time and opened up upon learning of the tragedy, but residents felt a certain way, knowing they had to contact authorities to get permission to cross onto the completely fenced private property. Like, yes, her property is that big that people needed to go through it to escape the fire, so let that sink in. People were also quick to point out that as a literal billionaire, she could afford to rebuild everything, including house, feed all the homeless people that are in Hawaii. And one social media user commented saying she's worth $3 billion. She could do all that stuff for people and still be a billionaire. With another person saying she asked other people for money with the whole, we know it's tough out there, so anything you can afford. Between Oprah and The Rock, they really shouldn't have needed to ask the public. I'm sure both of them could have given just as much without even noticing. One person even made a tweet that said, you guys make more in a day than I'll make in my lifetime. Another good point that someone also called out was asking why they are asking regular folk for money when they literally have millionaire and billionaire friends who collectively could quite literally take care of it all. A funny comment towards Oprah and The Rock was a TikToker that said, hey guys, I think you posted this to social media by mistake. This needs to be sent directly to your friends. And on the real, honestly, I see no lies told, because why are you, a millionaire, asking us, the public, to contribute to this fund when most of us are lucky to afford like an iced venti macchiato once a week? Like, go ask Dr. Phil or Kevin Hart. Now, during an appearance on CBS Mornings, which is actually co-hosted by her best friend Gayle King, Winfrey addressed the backlash that she faced. When asked about the reaction, she said, well, this is a really great point about being happier in the midst of an onslaught of being terrorized and vilified online. I will say this. I came out of this experience with so much more compassion for young kids, because I was thinking, what if I didn't really know who I am? What if I didn't have the assurance of Invictus, that I am the master of my own fate and the captain of my soul? And continued on by saying, so all of the online attacks, lies, conspiracy theories really took the focus off of what was the most important thing, and that was the people of Maui. Now, this particular clip was shared on X, formerly known as Twitter, and she faced even further criticism because she was then accused of playing the victim. You know, one user wrote, "Oprah playing the victim while trying to sell her book? Gross." Now, despite all of the backlash, Oprah's popularity on social media soared. She gained more than like 110,000 followers between Instagram and TikTok alone. Another person actually wrote, "They're giving Oprah more airtime playing the victim than the real victims. Sad." Another person wrote, "Oprah playing the victim and saying she was terrorized online. Gee, I wonder how the people of Hawaii must feel." And one person hoped Oprah would read all of these comments and said, "Oprah, in case you read this, you are not the victim here. Talk to the people who lost everything. That is where our sympathies and prayers are." Now, a viral TikTok video that has been viewed millions of times made several allegations. They include that Winfrey hired a private firefighting team before the fire spread, hired private security to prevent people seeking shelter at her property, and had previously bought her land for pennies on the dollar. When asked about the viral TikTok, a spokesperson for Oprah said all of the allegations in the videos were false. The original video has since been removed, of course, from the platform. However, reposts with several millions of views are still available. Now, remember the infamous Oprah episode in 2004 where she gifted literally everyone cars? Of course you do. Well, it wasn't so black and white as it seemed. What she didn't want everyone to know is just how difficult it actually was for the audience to be able to drive off in one. It was Oprah's Favorite Things episode. Now, she surprised her studio audience by giving each one of them a brand new Pontiac G6 sedan. The episode, which was part of Oprah's 19th season, featured her favorite products and gifts of the year. At the end of the show, Oprah announced she was giving away 276 cars, each valued at about $28,000. Now, the surprise gift was met with tears, cheers, and screams of excitement, of course. The episode actually became one of the most memorable moments in Oprah's show's history, and it was widely covered in the media. To this day, it has been literally one of the most parodied clips, and people just can't seem to get enough of it. Well, as exciting as everyone was to know they'd just been gifted a car, what followed after is that they were hit with a hard slap of reality when they were told that it wasn't quite totally free. They were then told if they wanted to drive it off the lot, they'd first have to pay about $7,000 in taxes, which, let's be honest, like who, especially around Christmas time, has a free $7,000 just sitting around ready to be dropped on a new car's taxes? If you're already planning on buying a new car, cool, totally get it. But being realistic, I would say more than half of her guests did not have that type of money just readily available. Now, on the plus side, the audience was allowed to choose if they wanted to just take the cash value of the car instead, which, hey, like not bad to go to a taping of the Oprah show and walk out about $28,000 richer, right?
In the world of Hollywood, Oprah's relationships with celebrities have always been talked about, whether it's good or bad, and when it comes to the Jackson family, mostly been bad. Janet Jackson in particular made it very clear that she wasn't a fan of Oprah, especially after the infamous 2010 interview with her parents, Joe and Katherine Jackson. Randy Jackson, Michael's brother, was the first to make his opinion of Oprah known, tweeting angrily about Oprah, writing, "I know how Oprah feels about my brother and family," going on to accuse her of making Michael look bad in public by airing old footage of his 2005 trial. He even went as far as claiming Oprah, quote, wanted to see Michael in jail. Janet Jackson also went after Oprah. When Oprah was granted access to Michael's former home to interview his kids, Janet wasn't happy. The Jackson family had long known that Michael didn't really trust Oprah, especially when it came to his family, so Michael had made it clear that he didn't want them exposed to the public eye. So you can imagine how the family felt when Oprah pushed ahead with filming an exclusive interview with his kids. Janet was reportedly furious about this, believing Oprah was using Michael's family for ratings, which, I mean, it Not much speculation there, that's clearly what's going on. A source close to the Jacksons told the National Enquirer that Janet called Oprah out during a heated phone call, at one point saying, quote, "Oprah, you make me sick." And yeah, can't really blame her there. Oprah had crossed a line. The Jacksons felt like they were being used as pawns in Oprah's media chess game, and it was clear that Janet in particular wasn't having any of it. She wasn't the only one upset though. Later, Michael's brother Jermaine took to Twitter criticizing Oprah for blindly supporting the Leaving Neverland documentary, which reignited old accusations against Michael. He tweeted, "So many in media, including Oprah, blindly taking Leaving Neverland at face value. We faced similar graphic claims, plus trial by media in 2005. Jury saw through it all. Trial by law proved Michael's innocence long ago." Now, not too long ago, Ice Cube shared some personal grievances about being snubbed by two major TV outlets, Oprah Winfrey's show and The View. Now, during an appearance on Tucker Carlson, which oddly enough he was on there, Ice Cube shared his thoughts about his attempts to get on both programs, only to be turned down. According to Cube, his exclusion wasn't just about his work, but his political views. He said, "I tried to go on The View, they didn't have me on The View," adding that producers told him some of the hosts simply didn't like where he was coming from. He went on to say, "I've been on there before, it's just when I become an independent thinker, I don't follow their brand of politics, I guess." Cube also pointed the finger at Oprah, claiming she's had issues with him for years. "I've been excluded on Oprah," he went on to say, recalling how he was left out of promotional opportunities for his projects. One glaring example was the time he produced Barbershop, a movie he felt deserved a spot on Oprah's show, but he was left off the guest list. "I wasn't invited to participate with the cast," he said. And it wasn't just Barbershop. Cube also produced the show Black White, and Oprah interviewed the full cast, but again, minus Cube. He said, "She had the whole cast on, and I wasn't invited, so I don't know what that's really about." Ludacris didn't have a very good time on his Oprah appearance in the mid-2000s, describing it as uncomfortable. He didn't shy away from sharing the details either. He was on to promote the movie Crash, an Oscar-winning film centered around racial discrimination in America. While on the show with his co-stars, Oprah took the opportunity to address some issues that she had with his music, specifically the use of the N-word and derogatory language towards women. Now, according to Ludacris, Winfrey's questioning felt more like an interrogation than an interview. In a GQ interview after the show, he talked about how uncomfortable the entire experience left him, saying, quote, "She edited out a lot of my comments while keeping her own in. Now, of course, it's her show, but we were doing a show on racial discrimination, and she gave me a hard time as a rapper when I came on there as an actor." Things didn't really get any better either. Ludacris said Oprah then pulled him aside for a quick private chat, saying, "After the taping, she pulled me into a room and we had a 5-minute conversation. What I got was that by having rappers on her show, she feels like she's empowering them." The conversation left him feeling like an outsider though, especially because the vibe of the whole show had left him feeling so off. Ludacris went on to say that being on the show was like being at someone's house that doesn't really want you there. Oprah later defended herself and made it clear that she didn't have a problem with rap music as a whole, but that while she respected the freedom of artists to express themselves, she had concerns about content that could marginalize certain groups, particularly women, saying, "I don't want to be marginalized by music or any form of art. I'm a woman who has worked very hard for my status in the world, and as a human being, I feel rap is a form of expression, as is jazz. I'm not opposed to rap. I'm opposed to being marginalized as a woman." Ludacris and Oprah didn't have any kind of feud after this though. It was awkward, but that was really about it. For this next rapper though, not quite the case. 50 Cent did not hold back when talking about how he feels about Oprah Winfrey. In his book Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter, he talked about how he initially wanted to appear on her show to impress his grandmother and prove his success, but Oprah publicly slammed his lyrics, calling them misogynist and accusing him of glorifying violence. He wrote, "She was completely against everything that was in my music, so she ain't never going to have me on that show. I'm never going to reach that platform," which is confirmation of being a huge success. This was a turning point for 50 Cent, leading him to jokingly say, "If we can't be friends, then at least let's be enemies." He even named his dog after Oprah apparently and poked fun at her fan base, saying that they were mainly just elderly white women. So yeah, there was some tension to say the least here, but 50 did say later he and Oprah became more cordial, but he still disagreed with her criticism, saying, "Are you going to tell a painter what to paint? I'm an artist. Why am I limited to what you feel should be said?" Then in 2019, 50 took to Instagram to talk about Oprah again. talking about how she, quote, goes after black men, referring to her involvement in the essay allegations against Michael Jackson and Russell Simmons, while being totally silent about men like Epstein or that major film producer with the initials HW who basically kicked off the Me Too movement. I wonder why that is. Oh. Yeah. Also in 2019, Monique took her turn calling out Oprah. It all started back when Monique was promoting her Oscar-winning role in Precious. Oprah did an interview, but not in the way you're thinking. The interview was with Monique's brother, Gerald, who had mistreated her growing up. And Monique, in a now deleted Periscope video, admitted that she had given Oprah her blessing to talk to Gerald, but what she didn't expect was for Oprah to bring her parents, Stephen and Alice, into the mix. Monique was shocked and horrified when they appeared in the audience for the interview. In the video, Monique said that Oprah crossed a line by involving her parents in something so personal, explaining that it was one thing for Oprah to interview Gerald, but the public display with her parents was another. As she said in a later interview, Oprah didn't just interview my brother, she had my parents there too, and that hurt my heart. While Monique tried to move past the issue and even forgive Oprah, the scars from that betrayal were deep. The source told Radar Online in 2010 that Monique was still holding onto a grudge against her parents too, believing they hadn't fully acknowledged Gerald's mistreatment of her. The source added that even though Monique had forgiven Oprah, she couldn't let go of the hurt from her family's role in the drama, and that grudge, she said, could, quote, go to the grave. Alright, we've dumped on Oprah quite a bit, but here's a situation where she was clearly the victim. Joan Rivers was never one to hold back. If she didn't like you, you'd know it. Her beef with Oprah was no exception, and it really didn't take long for this little feud to become a thing. Rivers actually started it on Oprah's first ever national TV appearance on The Tonight Show in 1985. Oprah, in her book Food, Health, and Happiness, talked about the moment, writing, "It was all going smoothly, I was starting to settle in, and then it happened. Joan interrupted with perhaps the only question I hadn't prepared for, so how'd you gain the weight?" Oprah was understandably taken aback, continuing, "Wait a minute, did she just use my national television debut to ask me why I was so fat?" She added that Joan wagged her finger and told Oprah, "I don't want to hear your excuses. You shouldn't have let this happen. You're still a single girl." Yikes. And things didn't even end there. Joan took it up a notch, challenging Oprah to come back 15 pounds lighter next time. Jeez, yeah. Joan Rivers was just savage. Funny, but she had her not so great moments, no doubt. Now, according to some sources, Joan wasn't just playing the tough love card here. She allegedly couldn't stand Oprah, calling her completely opportunistic. One insider claimed that Joan says Oprah is the biggest phony in the world, feels Oprah's real gift is exploiting people's suffering and emotions and turning them into TV ratings. And she's not entirely wrong there. I think people like Dr. Phil are way worse in that regard. And I mean, Jerry Springer. My God. At least Jerry wore it on his sleeve though. That show was just so in your face offensive. There was no hiding it. You got what was on the tin. But anyway, totally fair for Joan to call her out for that. But calling her fat on national TV, that was pretty low.
Every dollar that you send is going to go into an account that goes directly to the people. For 25 years, making fun of my weight was national sport.
Oprah became pregnant at 14.
When I was 14 years old, I became pregnant.
Oprah gave birth to a premature son who tragically passed away shortly after. She has spoken about the profound impact this loss had on her life and how it shaped her perspective on life and motherhood.
When that child died, my father said to me, "This is your second chance."
While she has not shared many details about her son, she has acknowledged the pain of losing him and the lasting impact it has had on her. She has also used her platform to advocate for women's health and to raise awareness about the challenges faced by teenage mothers. While Oprah Winfrey is known for her philanthropic efforts, some critics have questioned the transparency of her charitable giving. There isn't much proof that Oprah does donate her money. We all remember that scandal she tried to pull off with Dwayne Johnson.
Every dollar that you send that goes directly to the people.
Critics believe Oprah only donated some of her money as a tax break. Despite Oprah being worth billions of dollars, she still asked her fans for money to help with the wildfires that happened in Hawaii.
Oprah Winfrey and Dwayne Johnson revealed this morning they are joining forces. They've created the People's Fund of Maui, and the goal is to give cash directly to the people who need it.
Oprah was almost canceled overnight because of this. Some individuals expressed frustration that a wealthy individual like Oprah would ask for donations, rather than using her own resources to help the victims of the Maui wildfires.
They have millions, billions, and they've got friends that have millions, billions, right? So why don't they go to their friends for donation? Rah, rah, rah.
This criticism stemmed from the perception that Oprah, with her immense wealth and resources, could have easily funded the relief efforts herself without needing to solicit donations from others. Also, the fact she got her friend Dwayne Johnson, who is almost a billionaire, also asking his fans for money was absolutely baffling.
This is what you can do. The People's Fund of Maui.
Oprah struggles with her relationship with her dad, Vernon Winfrey. Oprah has described feeling a deep sense of longing for her father's love and approval. She has also acknowledged the challenges of understanding and accepting his limitations, particularly his struggles with addiction and his inability to provide the consistent support and guidance she craved. Despite these challenges, Oprah has maintained a connection with her father, honoring him and celebrating his contributions to her life.
Precious Lord.
Vernon Winfrey, appreciate today because my father is ill.
She has expressed gratitude for the positive impact he had on her, particularly his emphasis on education and his unwavering belief in her potential. By sharing her experiences with her father, Oprah has helped to normalize discussions about family dynamics, generational trauma, and the complexities of human relationships. Her openness about her own struggles has inspired others to seek healing and understanding, even in the most challenging of circumstances. Next, we have the very controversial weight loss.
There's been plenty of reaction to Oprah Winfrey revealing that she's taking a weight loss drug.
As the big mystery continues, what weight loss drug is she taking?
Oprah has been subjected to public scrutiny and body shaming throughout her career. In 2023, Oprah publicly acknowledged using weight loss medication to aid her weight loss journey. Controversy. Some critics argued that this disclosure was hypocritical, as she had previously promoted healthier lifestyle choices like diet and exercise. Defense. Oprah defended her decision, stating that she was using the medication as a tool to manage her weight, and that she was open about her struggles with weight loss. Oprah seems to be in a lot of scandals revolving around money. Many people took issue with how many celebrities endorsed Kamala Harris during the 2024 presidential election, with some suggesting they were paid to do so. After saying Oprah was not paid by Kamala, reports came out to say she was given $1 million on an Instagram post by The Shade Room featuring a video of Oprah Winfrey being ambushed by a TMZ videographer. The comments section erupted with skepticism.
Is it true that they paid you $1 million for the endorsement for Kamala?
Not true.
Winfrey had denied receiving personal payment from a political campaign for her endorsement. Many fans found the notion that Winfrey, already a wealthy individual, would demand $1 million sum for her support to be absurd. As one fan commented, "Y'all thinking Oprah's support can be purchased is beyond me." Winfrey herself responded in the comments, "Thank you so much for saying this. I want to high-five you and give you a hug. Usually I am reluctant to respond to rumors in general, but these days I realize that if you don't stop a lie, it just gets bigger." Even though Oprah said she was not paid directly, fans still do not believe it. Oprah doesn't pay a lot in taxes. Could we see Oprah and Shakira in the same prison cell for tax evasion? It's important to note that there are common practices among the wealthy and powerful to pay way less in taxes than us, and there might be definitive evidence that Oprah has engaged in illegal tax avoidance schemes. In America, felony tax evasions could land you 5 years in prison, but I am sure she will be able to buy herself out of prison. Next up, Oprah is a dirty little liar. The James Frey controversy was a significant moment in Oprah Winfrey's career and had a lasting impact on her reputation as a book reviewer. In 2005, Oprah selected James Frey's memoir, A Million Little Pieces, for her book club, praising it as a gut-wrenching and raw account of addiction and recovery. The book quickly became a bestseller, propelled by Oprah's endorsement. However, shortly after the book's release, it was revealed that Frey had fabricated significant portions of his memoir, including details about his criminal history and time spent in rehab. The Smoking Gun, an investigative website, published a detailed expose exposing the inaccuracies and fabrications in Frey's story. Oprah was initially taken aback by the revelations and felt betrayed by Frey. She confronted him on her show, expressing her disappointment and questioning his honesty.
Titled The Man Who Conned Oprah, and I want to know, were they right?
The incident sparked a public debate about the nature of memoir and the responsibility of authors to be truthful. The controversy damaged Oprah's credibility as a book reviewer and raised questions about her ability to discern truth from fiction. It also led to a broader discussion about the ethics of memoir writing and the role of publishers in verifying the accuracy of authors' claims. Now, let me take you guys back to 2005. Tom Cruise appeared on Oprah Winfrey's show to promote his movie, War of the Worlds. However, the interview quickly took an unexpected turn, becoming one of the most infamous moments in television history. During the interview, Cruise's enthusiasm for his then-girlfriend, Katie Holmes, reached a fever pitch. He declared his love for her and, in a moment of unbridled excitement, jumped onto Oprah's couch, pacing back and forth and shouting about his love for Holmes. This bizarre display shocked viewers and raised eyebrows about Cruise's behavior. The incident sparked widespread controversy and ridicule. Many critics argued that Cruise's behavior was erratic and unprofessional, and it tarnished his public image. The incident also raised questions about the influence of talk shows on celebrity behavior and the potential for such platforms to amplify and normalize unusual behavior. Since we are talking about Tom Cruise, let's talk about the Scientology controversy. Oprah Winfrey's friendship with Tom Cruise, a prominent member of the Church of Scientology, has drawn scrutiny and raised questions about her potential involvement with the controversial religion. Scientology has been the subject of much controversy, with accusations of abusive practices, harassment, and suppression of dissent. While Oprah has never publicly declared herself a Scientologist, her close association with Cruise has led to speculation about her beliefs and potential involvement in the church. Some critics have suggested that her friendship with Cruise may have influenced her decisions and public statements, particularly regarding topics related to mental health and spirituality. However, it's important to note that Oprah has also been critical of Scientology's practices, particularly its controversial child custody policies. She has also expressed support for mental health awareness and treatment, which contradicts some of Scientology's teachings. Now we have the spiritual bypassing criticism that suggests that Oprah's emphasis on spirituality and positive thinking can sometimes overshadow the need for practical solutions to social and political problems. This criticism argues that while a positive mindset and spiritual practices can be beneficial, they should not be used as a substitute for addressing systemic issues and tangible solutions. Some critics argue that Oprah's focus on individual empowerment and personal transformation can sometimes neglect the broader societal issues that contribute to inequality and injustice.
We all know that Diddy has been exposed for doing some pretty terrible stuff, but it appears that Oprah is just as guilty as he is. Oprah is known to have been friends with Diddy. They were spotted together multiple times at parties, charity events, and Oprah even had Diddy on her talk show. They were both big and powerful people in Hollywood, but it appears that maybe they were using their power for bad. Not good. Recently, a source sent Page Six a VHS tape that was sent out as an invitation to the mogul's 29th birthday in 1998. It's a combination of celebrities inviting you to Diddy's birthday party. Starting off the video, though, is Oprah, which stands out a lot. Other celebrities seen in the tape include Ellen DeGeneres, Chris Rock, Mariah Carey, Magic Johnson, Will Smith, Ben Stiller, Joan Rivers, Steven Tyler, and Tommy Hilfiger. It begins with a strange home video style skit in which Danny DeVito is lying on a sofa under a blanket and says, "That's right, Puff Daddy is having a party, and this is Puff Daddy inviting you to come. Let's have a ball." Then the group of celebs take turns reading from a script detailing the time, date, exactly how fabulous and expensive the party will be, and then reading an address to RSVP to. They say that the venue would be revealed later. Now, all those people in the video appear to be his really good friends, and how interesting it is that Oprah was a part of it. It was revealed that the invite is 6 minutes long, but only 1.5 minutes were released to the public. It has people questioning what else is on there and what's being hidden. Commenters, though, are shocked by the video. One person commented, "I think it's foul that not one person was staying away from him then, and supposedly they knew. No one was saying a word. Didn't he have some kind of big 4th of July party that anyone who was anyone would be at every year? Those people should be just as guilty, accomplices." While another person said, "It's crazy. Anyone I see here is suspect to me." Yeah, it's just not a good look and shows us that Oprah was closer to Diddy than maybe we had thought. Oprah herself has been caught in many scandals throughout her career, and one that really sticks out is her school that she created. The Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy for Girls opened in Johannesburg in 2007. It was founded with $40 million of Oprah's money. But less than a year later, 6 of the 152 students who had been personally selected by Oprah to attend the institution came forward to accuse dorm matron Virginia Tiny McGobo of mistreating them. She was arrested in November 2007 and released on bail. She faced 14 different charges. It seems like she and the organization did not look into who they were hiring and how the operation was running on a daily basis. It's definitely very sad because this could have been prevented. Following the first trial, Oprah was then sued by the headmistress of the South African Girls' School for defamation. She alleged that Winfrey defamed her by implying she was covering up the mistreatment going on at the school. However, this case was later settled out of court before the arranged trial. That is not all that happened there though. In 2009, there was another scandal about mistreatment. 7 of their students were suspended for harassing their classmates. The New York Daily News also reported that the alleged perpetrators attempted to entice their classmates into lesbian relationships. A South African news outlet also revealed that one of the girls demanded that her victims lie to the police about what happened. There's been a lot of bad stuff happening there, and it seems like no one is really doing anything about it and is just letting it happen. Not to mention, parents also came forward with complaints about the school. In March 2007, some parents complained because they were only allowed to visit their children once a month, and the girls were only allowed to use their cell phones on weekends. One parent said, quote, "It was a nightmare. We had only 2 hours to see my child. Surely this isn't a prison or an institution." Another mother said her homesick daughter was very upset over the rules. Quote, "Michelle phones me in tears sometimes, and then I don't know what to say to her." There have also been rumors online that some girls from the school have gone missing. There hasn't been any concrete evidence of this, but it honestly wouldn't surprise me since there has been so many other shady things going on there too. People think that Oprah has been taking the students and doing God knows what to them. Shockingly, the school is still up and running, which is crazy considering all of the scandals that have happened. There's something fishy going on though, and more people have been starting to question it. Oprah has also been involved in more controversies lately, with people even reflecting on her past interviews and calling her out for her behavior. But Oprah isn't the only one who has interviews that haven't aged well. People have been digging up a lot of stuff about Diddy, and I mean, if people just paid attention to what he was saying in his interviews, we might have known sooner that he was up to no good. One of the most shocking revelations comes from an interview he did with Entertainment Tonight in 1999. He was talking about his parties and had this to say: "They won't even give me a permit for the parties. They don't want me to throw parties no more. But we ain't gonna stop. We're gonna keep having fun, bringing people together from all walks of life. They're going to be shutting them down. They're probably going to be arresting me, doing all types of crazy things just because we want to have a good time." Yeah. Now the fact that he says they're probably going to arrest me is kind of crazy. In 2002, Diddy made an appearance on Late Night with Conan O'Brien. While there, he said some pretty concerning things. Conan asked him what makes a Diddy party so great, and Diddy goes on to list that you need beautiful ladies, beautiful men, booze, water, and locks on the doors. Yeah, one of those things is not like the others. Conan then interjected about the locks, asking if the parties were safe. Diddy then played it off as a joke, but with what we know now, there probably were locks on the doors, maybe so he could control his victims better. I feel with him saying this, it's so clear that some not so legal things happened at his parties. I mean, no normal party needs locks to keep the guests locked in. I think this is some pretty crazy evidence, and I mean, he just kind of tattled on himself. The problem is people think that this is just a joke, but he's been telling us the truth the whole time. And probably what's some of the most shocking evidence against him is how he answered this question. In 2017, Diddy was a guest on Martha and Snoop's potluck dinner party, which was hosted by Martha Stewart and Snoop Dogg. In the resurfaced clip, the two hosts are seen playing a card game with their guests that consisted of various open-ended prompts. The Bad Boy founder reads, quote, "When I die, I want my last words to be," and he swiftly answers, quote, "I did it." It's giving O.J. Simpson. As he looks around the room, people laugh and clap, seemingly taking his response as a lighthearted joke. I did it? What? Now, what's crazy is at this point, Diddy had some accusations against him, but they were all brushed off or nobody believed the women at the time. To me though, this clip is a clear confession. He just told us that all the rumors about him were true, which, again, is insane. With this clip resurfacing, people are shocked by this too. "That's a confession," reads one of the most liked comments under the TikTok video. "This didn't age well," one person wrote, as another said, "Well, he did it all right." It's just weird all around, and if you look back, there were so many signs about how bad of a person Diddy was. I mean, he practically admitted it in public and no one listened. Now it appears the same thing is happening with Oprah as people have began to turn on the star. And let me just say, I wouldn't be shocked if we start learning about the skeletons in her closet real soon.
Alright, while the older generation loved Oprah Winfrey and what she stood for, people are now seeing the dark side of the star, from hoarding her $3 billion to help cover up crimes. Here are warning signs that prove she's evil. Starting off with the most recent event is her Maui Fund. Dwayne Johnson and Oprah Winfrey launched the People's Fund of Maui, a fund intended to put money directly into the hands of adults displaced by the deadly wildfires that had ripped through Hawaii in August 2023. According to the pair's Instagram post, every adult resident who was displaced by the fires was eligible to receive $1,200 each month from the fund. Now, the pair noted that they had kicked off the campaign with $10 million in donations and asked others to help by contributing further. After announcing the fund, the pair then drew criticism from some people on social media who questioned why they were not contributing more of their personal wealth. One person on TikTok called their video tone deaf, and some commenters questioned why the pair, as wealthy celebrities, were asking others to give instead of donating more themselves. "We can't afford it, but you can," one person commented on their video on TikTok. Others questioned why the appeal for donations was being directed at the general public rather than their fellow stars with more financial means. "This is disgusting, ask other celebrities, not people who are living paycheck to paycheck," another person said. Now, how did Oprah respond to this? Well, she made it worse. In an interview on CBS Mornings, Oprah said that she felt she had been terrorized and vilified online. Then there were the many times that she exploited her guests. Now, one of the most prolific examples of this is when a young Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen were on the show. At the time the interview took place, Mary-Kate had been hounded by the press about her weight, with intense media speculation that the star was suffering from an eating disorder. Oprah, knowing this was a touchy subject, brought it up anyways. In the interview, she says, "I know there's been a rumor that has recently surfaced that's really upset you." Now, Mary-Kate and Ashley were both clearly taken aback by the question, and a tense moment of silence followed by Oprah saying, "You know, the one about eating." Mary-Kate was so thrown by the line of questioning, she looked almost on the verge of tears, and Ashley jumped in to rescue her. "Yeah, you know, people are gonna write what they're gonna write," she says. Now, after some awkward back and forth, Oprah asked the Olsen twins what dress size they are, and they reacted uncomfortable by saying, "I don't know," and it was obvious that the questions about their body was uncomfortable. But Oprah still pushed. When they said they weren't sure, Oprah hit back sarcastically saying, "Oh, you're not sure? That's so interesting." Another time she's been called out for not being sensitive was when she did an interview she did with Dolly Parton in 2003 that has resurfaced, with people questioning the star and her interview tactics. Some people have questioned about what Oprah was asking Dolly, how she was asking, and what exactly her goal was by probing for personal information. In the first video, Oprah asked Dolly how she's able to look so good for her age, and Dolly gives a funny answer. Now Oprah presses her harder though, noting that Dolly has been open about having cosmetic work done. It seems like Oprah was trying to have a gotcha moment to throw Dolly off and make her uncomfortable, but Dolly just rolls with the punches and admits to it. Dolly even says she'll probably continue going under the knife, and some people are pointing out that Oprah looks disappointed that Dolly flipped it in her favor. A second clip from that same interview popped up as well, and Oprah dives right into a heavy subject, saying she heard Dolly fell into a huge depression at age 40. She doesn't really approach the topic with any sensitivity, and that's rubbed people the wrong way. Then there's the strange people she's had on her show. In 2007, Oprah brought Jenny McCarthy, the Playboy model and actress, onto her show to talk about autism. Jenny's young son, Evan, had suffered a series of seizures when he was young and was later diagnosed with autism. Jenny was then adamant that vaccinations Evan received caused his autism. Now, Oprah gave her story a platform and unwittingly started the panic we know today. During that interview, Oprah never challenged Jenny's views either, and Jenny had no scientific evidence to back this claim up. Then, if you didn't know, Oprah has a book club, and she added James Frey's book, A Million Little Pieces, to the reading list. Now, when James was promoting his books on talk shows or other media outlets, it was referred to as a memoir. But large parts of the story were later found to be exaggerated or fabricated, sparking a media controversy. Now, this was discovered after an investigation was conducted by the Smoking Gun. They determined that James had actually fictionalized some of his story, and controversy arose after Oprah initially defended the book, but she later confronted James on her show. I mean, at least she did her research about the book, but her helping spread misinformation is truly dangerous, and she hasn't taken a lot of accountability. And of course, we have to mention her scandal in South Africa. When the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy for Girls opened in Johannesburg in 2007, Nelson Mandela, Tina Turner, Sidney Poitier, Spike Lee, and Oprah herself attended the ribbon-cutting ceremony celebrating the landmark boarding school founded with $40 million of Oprah's money. But less than a year later, 6 of the 152 students who had been personally selected by Oprah to attend the institution came forward to accuse dorm matron Virginia Tiny McGabo of mistreating them. She was then arrested in November 2007 and released on bail, and she faced 14 different charges. "It has shaken me to my core," Oprah said of returning to South Africa with a team of private detectives to investigate the allegations and to personally speak with the girls. "This has been one of the most devastating, if not the most devastating, experiences of my life." Now, it seems like she and the organization did not look into who they were hiring and how the operation was running. Now, this all could have been avoided. Now, following the first trial, Oprah was sued by the headmistress of the school for defamation. She alleged that Oprah defamed her by implying she was covering up the mistreatment going on at the school. However, the case was later settled outside of court before the arranged trial, according to CNN. Now, that's not all that happened here though, as speculation of numerous missing girls from the academy spread like wildfire across social media. However, the validity of these statements has not been confirmed or denied. One thing that was emphasized was that Oprah's show came before everything else, including her employees' families. When Oprah launched the OWN network, the first show she premiered was season 25, Oprah Behind the Scenes. Now, in that episode, she asked women that worked for her to speak about their experiences, and they did not hold back. Now, a large portion of the women who worked for Oprah had their own families, and they spoke about how they had to make certain sacrifices in their personal lives for the success of the show. They talked about the challenges they faced as working moms, and one of them was quoted as saying, "I had to be okay with making sacrifices for work. I hope I inspire that passion in my children." Now, Oprah thanked them for working long hours and sacrificing their personal lives, but made it clear that it was necessary and par for the course. I mean, yes, it is important to be dedicated to your work, but not having the balance of being able to be with your family just seems way too extreme. I mean, you'd think with Oprah being worth so much money, she'd be able to hire as many people as she needed and not leave people overworked or missing important events in their lives. Now, to be honest, I really hate that rule. Now, this was just reaffirmed by Libby Moore, who spent 11 years working as Oprah's chief of staff. "I hit the job jackpot," she told Women's Agenda from her New York base. "It was like winning a grand slam. It was extraordinary, and even now, 5.5 years after leaving, it's actually hard to articulate because it was so massive," she said. Now, to say that the job was consuming was a vast understatement. An average day saw Libby arrive for work between 6:30 and 7 a.m. and leave between 10 to 11 p.m. Now, the show was syndicated to 144 countries, and the demands were constant. Libby would routinely reply to 250 emails while watching the taping of the talk show, and that was just 1 hour of her 15-hour day. "I got to take care of her so that she could do what she did best. It was my pleasure to support her in that way," Libby explained. As far as pressure goes, the highs were super high and the lows were super low. Not because of Oprah, because of everything else swirling around that level of power, money, and fame. I wasn't very good at balancing my life. As amazing as the job was and the friendship that Oprah and I had, my personal life was really suffering. I had 3 long-term relationships while I was in that job, she says. I could not continue any longer in the position. I needed to take a leap of faith and see where I would land. Wow, that is very intense. Then there's also the fact that Oprah makes everyone sign NDAs. Now this isn't too surprising, but most NDAs are for a limited time. Hers though? Well, her staff must sign lifetime agreements. In the year 2000, Oprah defended the restrictive gag order for employees, saying, "I have to function in an environment where I feel I could trust my employees." Now, honestly, this just feels extreme, but it seems like they take this quite seriously, as Elizabeth Cody, a former producer for Harpo Productions, wanted to write a tell-all book about her experiences, but she was unable to. Now, the whole thing went through court, but Oprah had a strong team. Now, in addition to having NDAs that keep her safe, she also has the best security team. Oprah once hired Michael J. White to her security team before he went on to become the first black actor to play a superhero. White is trained in Taekwondo, Jiu-Jitsu, and numerous other martial arts. Now, it seems like Oprah really puts an emphasis on safety, physical and intellectual. Something else is that you need to be prepared to deal with controversies and the potential there could be lawsuits and you might be called in to testify. Or the fact that a case could completely throw your life for a loop. You see, in the spring of 1996, according to CBS News, the United Kingdom experienced an outbreak of mad cow disease. Per the FDA, the disease destroys cows' central nervous system, and if humans eat infected beef, they can contact a deadly variant. Now, during the mad cow scare, the Oprah Winfrey Show booked Howard Lehman, and the former cattle rancher had adopted a vegetarian lifestyle and went to work for the Humane Society's Eating with Conscious Animal Welfare campaign, and he appeared on the show to discuss the threat of mad cow to Americans. Now, he pointed out that feeding the remains of mad cow infected cattle to other animals could have facilitated the spread, and that such practices were common in the US. Now, Oprah was left stunned by this. Now, with Oprah's influence, right after the episode aired, beef prices plummeted for almost 2 weeks, hitting a 10-year low. Now, as a result, a group of Texas cattle ranchers sued Oprah for $10.3 million, alleging that her remarks caused undue harm to the entire beef industry. Now, one Texas rancher, Paul Engler, lost an estimated $6.7 million and organized a class action libel lawsuit against Oprah and her show's producers for besmirching American beef. Now, after a 6-week trial in Texas, she won, but I mean, just imagine having to go through all of that. Now, this wasn't a rule for her staff, but for who was paying them. The first year of her talk show, Oprah gave her staff members rolls of toilet paper. Now, in an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, Oprah said she put a special message in the rolls back in 1986. Now, this came in the wake of management refusing to give the staff raises. They said, direct quote, "Why do they need more money? They're a bunch of girls." I said, well, it's a bunch of girls who are now doing a national show. And they said they're in the same room with the same desks, in the same office, on the same street. They don't need any more money, recalled Oprah. So if management wasn't going to help, Oprah decided that she would find a way to reward her employees. So that first year, I gave everyone bonuses. I had a big dinner, and my idea of being creative was to have $10,000 rolled up into toilet paper rolls at the dinner as gifts because I couldn't get my management to pay them, she revealed. Then I went to management and said, if you don't pay them, I'm not going to work. By the next year, it was like, I'm not going to keep paying them. I shouldn't have to pay everybody out of my salary. That informed me that if I ever get my own business, I'm going to pay people well, she said. Now, it's actually really good that she did this and created a change, especially for the times. And Oprah also makes sure that all of her staff are acting appropriately. You see, the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy for Girls opened in Johannesburg in 2007. This was one of Oprah's passion products, as she founded it with $40 million of her own money, and she even hand-selected the 152 students who attended. But less than a year after the school opened, 6 of the 152 students who had been personally selected came forward to accuse dorm matron Virginia Tiny MacGobo of mistreating them. Virginia pleaded not guilty and her trial was ongoing. She was arrested in November 2007 and released on bail, where she faced 14 different charges. "It has shaken me to my core," Oprah said, of returning to South Africa with a team of private detectives to investigate the allegations and personally speak with the girls. "This has been one of the most devastating, if not the most devastating, experiences in my life," she said. Now in the end, Oprah fired all the matrons no matter what, and following the first trial, she was then sued by the headmistress of the school for defamation. She alleged that Oprah defamed her by implying she was covering up the mistreatment going on at the school. However, this case was later settled outside of court before the arranged trial, according to CNN.
Well, on a walk back to her vehicle recently, Oprah was ambushed by a paparazzi with various questions about her recent involvement in the US presidential election. For those not aware of the situation, Oprah has been accused of being paid $1 million to appear at an event supporting Kamala Harris's campaign. TMZ obtained the exclusive video of this impromptu Oprah interview. It was quick and clear to viewers that Oprah did not want to engage, giving short answers and telling them multiple times that she wasn't going to answer their questions. The first question was about what Oprah thought of the election results, and her answer was sweet but firm in that she didn't want to discuss the matter. However, you can see her demeanor change when the cameraman presses on anyways, asking if it was true that she was paid to endorse Harris. Oprah spoke very clearly when she said that that wasn't true and that she was paid nothing ever. As the pop continued to ask various questions, Oprah got in her car, and as the door closed, it was clear the impromptu interview was over. But paid endorsement accusations aren't the only ones giving the talk show host grief right now. People eagerly await to see if Oprah will publicly comment on the situation with Diddy and everything that people are accusing her of providing the victims to the freak-offs, to having a connecting secret underground tunnel system within the rapper's home. There are all sorts of outlandish theories out there. The reason Oprah has found her name attached to Diddy in the headlines is because people noticed how comfortable she appeared with the rapper in party snapshots. As mentioned, Sean Diddy Combs is in some serious trouble right now after multiple people have stepped forward accusing him of engaging with them without consent, forcing people to consume things they don't want to, filming compromising situations, and then later using that footage as blackmail for people, and just generally being a really awful person, and definitely not the kind of guy you'd want your name attached to, especially not if you are someone as famous as Oprah, the kind of personality that has established themselves over the years as someone in firm support of the movement and amplifying victims' voices. Now, coming back to bite Oprah are all the pictures of her partying with Sean Diddy Combs at events he's hosted and others hosted by third parties. Here's the thing though, many big Hollywood names have appeared on a Diddy guest list, but not everyone has been a guest at a freak-off, which are the parties that everyone really has a problem with. Diddy was known as the party host in the 2000s. He hosted massive birthday parties, the white attire parties, wild after parties. The bashes were known for being over the top and expensive and extravagant, and everyone wanting to be there. A Diddy birthday invite was once a VHS featuring a dozen celebrities personally inviting the viewer, including Oprah actually. Another invite featured a literal golden ticket. It was a status symbol to be around that much wealth. The main parties were apparently often pretty standard as far as parties go. Allegedly, it was the Diddy after parties that were the freak-offs. Many news sites report that by the time a party descended into a freak-off, the famous faces would have already left. Like anything, there are always rumors online about various celebrities being caught at the events, like Oprah. But people aren't just accusing Oprah of attending freak-offs, but also helping put them on. Some sites even claiming she provided the victims. They claim that one way she would have brought people over is via an underground secret tunnel system connecting Oprah's home to Diddy's. Rumors of a tunnel system below Oprah's home have been around for years, but with all the Diddy drama lately, that rumor is being dug up again. Some TikTok users even claim to have access to and explore abandoned Oprah mansions. The tunnel situation really caught fire when one woman claimed that not only was Oprah a key player, but that she had the address to a tunnel entrance. Adria English filed a lawsuit against Diddy, claiming she worked for Combs at the Hamptons and Miami parties he threw in the mid to late 2000s. In addition to allegedly being forced to consume things, English claims she was also forced to engage in actions she didn't want to do. She claims she was told by Diddy that in exchange for her actions, he would help her and her then boyfriend break into the entertainment world in their respective respective industries, music and modeling. English alleges that he never kept up his end of the bargain, and now she is suing Diddy and those deemed his co-conspirators for $50 billion. Adria English did have legal representation, but they have since parted ways. One of the lawyers claimed that English was disrespectful and self-destructive, making it impossible to continue representing her. However, the legal team did say that they never lost faith in her case, just in her. To which English allegedly responded with, "I am the client, you work for me." How does this tie back to Oprah? A major point of conflict between English and her legal team was that they requested that English not speak to any form of media, and soon after parting ways, English spoke to independent media. And that interview made its way around TikTok gossip pages and conspiracy pages. English made the bombshell claim that there were tunnels under Oprah's home. She also made the bold statement, she sees what's going on because she's a participant. And there appears to be a shortcut in the video, and so it's unclear if her next statement came right after this line or if the video was edited, but the next words Adria English spoke in the video are, "I ain't gonna say allegedly, sue me." As of right now, no credible news site has confirmed that, or that a tunnel system exists under any of Oprah's properties, or that she was involved with or helped Diddy or anyone else with something like this. I do not wish to discredit Adria English, just clarify that the information she has shared hasn't been officially confirmed or fact-checked by a credible news site yet. Oprah has made little to no comment on the Diddy situation, but maybe it'll take a year until she does speak on the issue. That is what happened back in 2013 regarding her 2011-2012 nervous breakdown. In 2013, the talk show host admitted that the rumors circulating from the year before about how she was having a nervous breakdown were 100% true. She shared all this and more in an interview with Access Hollywood. Let's set that scene. Oprah is/was, if not the biggest talk show host back in 2011, so big that she could launch her own network. It was called the Oprah Winfrey Network, or OWN. What was supposed to be the start of a prosperous new chapter didn't really go according to plan. The network apparently struggled when it debuted, it struggled to take off, and it was struggling to stay up, to the point where Oprah started to suffer a nervous breakdown. The wind of this when it was happening, it was in all the headlines, but Oprah kept to herself about it until a year later when she admitted it was all true. The talk show host shared that her breakdown was literally happening in the middle of her struggling network, and I do mean literally. She shared the moment she realized that she was breaking down when she was in the middle of doing voiceovers. She said, "I remember closing my eyes in between each page because looking at the page and the words at the same time was too much stimulation for my brain." She also shared that she started noticing other symptoms when she was interviewing Jason Russell in 2012. Their chat was all about his public breakdown, which included him running unclothed in the streets. Oprah never got to that point, let me assure you, but she did say that talking to Russell, hearing about his lived experience, his symptoms, clued her into the fact that she could relate and was experiencing some of them. Oprah explained in the Access Hollywood interview, "In the beginning, it was just sort of speeding and a kind of numbness and going from one thing to the next thing to the next thing." She also said she told herself, "All right, if I don't calm down, I'm gonna be in serious trouble." The talk show host acknowledged that she had worn herself thin and reached a breaking point, a point where she just couldn't handle any more stimulation. Oprah was always one to tell people to push through hard times and hold on to their dreams, and this situation was testing her ability to do just that. While her new network wasn't exactly tanking, it was doing poorly enough that it just wasn't where Oprah wanted it to be, and it could be considered a failure. The media was having a grand old time writing about the network's failure, which only made the wound hurt more. About this, Oprah had said, "Nobody was more surprised than I was about that." She then went on to talk about how this was the moment she realized that she needed to hunker down because, as she believes, there is no such thing as failure. She said that failure is just God telling you to move in another direction. Slowly but surely, the network started seeing their ratings improve to the point where Oprah stopped believing that she should be worried. The experience let her, in her words, walk that walk and not just talk it about following and sticking with your dreams.